This is the Construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Last time I almost died crossing the desert, camped at the border inn, and then we headed north up into Bonneville and the Bonneville Salt Flats to camp out on the legendary Salt. We were also lucky enough to be rejoined by Louisiana Lee after his support team dropped him off at the hotel.
Should have live streamed out here. Oh, I think we got a car.
I really hate the idea of backtracking just so we can stay on the trail. But in this case, it was just a few hundred yards. 207 miles
207?
to our next destination. And guess what, fellas? It was all freaking desert. And it was just not a good day to be in the desert. Sunny and dry and hot, and nothing in between to give you any relief. No trees, no shade, just sunlight. The pavement ended shortly after we got on it, but this was only a little bit of powdery gravel and sand, maybe an inch. Just enough to make you uneasy in the corners. But lucky for us, there was probably 8 or 9 corners in 200 miles, so nothing to really worry about. The only true way to get the scale in the vast, immense desert out here is to ride it. It's the only way. I could show you some video of us riding across the desert. I could speed it up even. But unless you sit there and watch it for hours on end, you just can't really get the scale. These mountains don't seem to move, which is a little bit disconcerting when the temperature goes up to over 100 before 10 o'clock in the morning. It really does grab a hold of you somehow.
Nine 30 is already great.
A couple of hours in, I was ready for a break and hopefully find some bit of shade, some relief from the beating and burning sun. So I found Canyon Station, which is a Pony Express station, or what remains of the Pony Express station. And it turns out this round building was built after the Pony Express business itself had dissolved. Apparently there was a massacre here on this site, and they rebuilt this station with a round brick wall, apparently easier to defend. I've read a few things like there was never a roof on this, and they just built it so it was easy to jump over the walls when the Indians came in. Nice shooting positions too. Yeah, I would imagine this would be much easier to defend than a wooden frame structure, given that the Indians knew how to defeat that already. What else could a round structure be used for? I don't know. It did not take us very long to realize that the shade offered by the Canyon Station monument was not much shade at all. It was just a place to sit and cook under the sun. So we gathered up and headed into the canyon behind Canyon Station. It was not long riding in this canyon before we popped out into a small town. A real town in the middle of the desert. I'm guessing it was some old mining town because I can't really see another reason for living this deep into the desert. No reason at all. So why were they here? The trail took us mostly north, but eventually west back into Nevada for the final leg of the journey on pavement into Wendover and the Salt Flats of Bonneville.
We should just stay on the road, though.
You what?
Stay on the road. It's got one of those instead of turning left, just keep straight cars back in.
I am quite sure there are a lot of dual sport and dirt purists, the adventure types that don't like pavement. But sometimes pavement is very reassuring, especially in this part of the world, this desert part, where it's still you can enjoy the beauty and you don't have to experience the unknowns as much in the fearful parts. Because, say something breaks down, your motorcycle falls apart, you have two flats and can't patch either one of them. You're probably not going to die on stretches of highway like this. Somebody will come along. Maybe they won't give you a ride, but maybe they'll at least call for help for you. It's a bit reassuring in sections like this. I don't mind pavement as much as some people do.
I think I know what the problem is here. Really? Dude? What? Yeah, think about it, guys. You see all the things kids have today? I mean, with their Xboxes and surround sound entertainment systems, kids today are surrounded by big, loud stuff all the time. Hey, that's right. That's all it is, guys. We just need to get a little louder, that's all.
Ah, the parade of idiots. Faggots!
Hey man, we roll how we roll, and if people are annoyed or intimidated by it, that's too bad for them.
Yeah!
No, nobody is intimidated, actually. Everyone realizes that people who are so needy for attention they need to dress up and be as loud as possible are you guys and 16-year-old girls. Just want to let you know, you're f***ing fags.
What'd you think about Roberto's?
Roberto's wasn't too bad.
Be honest,
It wasn't bad. I mean,
it was pretty awful. You must have had something different than I did. Mine was
yeah,
a plate full of beans and cheese.
salty beans.
It was bad.
The air conditioning was working well.
The air conditioning kind of sucked, but
We're in a desert.
it's about 10-15 degrees cooler than it is out here, so. After cooling off inside while waiting for the desert to cool off outside, and after eating the second worst Mexican food I have ever eaten, we rolled on down the hill back into Utah and out across the speedway. The Bonneville Salt Flats is one of the craziest places I have ever been. The most insane thing to me personally is the fact that the government lets you ride your freaking bike out here. 30,000 acres of almost perfectly flat salt. But beware, this place is covered with danger and lots of places to break yourself and your bike. I have brought more than a few people out here and talked to thousands more about it. I am constantly amazed at all the folks that know about it but have never been interested in coming out to see it or even ride on it. I highly recommend that you ride on it, but you really should wash your bike soon after riding on it, as it is made of salt. Worse than any salted road you have ever ridden on. But if you're afraid of salt, ride to the edge and walk out on it at least. You really need to appreciate it. You may know some of the history of Bonneville, the racing history, the epic land speed records that were set here, and the amazing people that have tried to break those records. If you have not seen World's Fastest Indian, it is one of the best movies ever made, and certainly one of the best moto movies made. And it's based on a true story. If you have not seen Fastest Naked Man either, it's a true classic also. And I will link below and at the end of this video. You got to check it out. While I could talk for an hour about the racing history of this amazing place, I could talk for many hours about the geology of this region. The fact that the basin was the site of a vast inland sea millions of years ago, hence all the salt. Also, it was covered recently in fresh water and was known as Lake Bonneville just a few thousand years ago. During the Ice Age, glaciers formed a dam to prevent all the meltwater from flowing to the sea. If you want to learn something cool, look up Bonneville floods. They created the awesomeness of Twin Falls over in Idaho. Check it out.
Want me to take a picture of you?
Selfie? I would suggest if we're going to park somewhere, let's get off the track, and people come through here and let them fly, and they lose control.
Wet right there.
Yeah, the hole right there. Turn your key off.
Regardless of what you think of selfies, I think getting a picture out here would be very important, as I was inspired many years ago by a buddy that took a picture of his $500 motorcycle that he rode across country at the time. And I saw that picture and I was completely inspired by it. And I thought, well, if this scoundrel can ride his cheap little motorcycle out here, why can't I? And I've kind of been obsessed ever since.
Look at it, make sure. Yeah, to get off the main track, so it's... But there's a hole right there.
We had come out to the salt for the experience as well as camping on the salt. I have camped all around the salt many times, but have never camped on the salt. It was easy to talk Richard into it. The main thing for me, as you heard earlier, was getting off the speedway, the actual track that's in the center. That might be the most dangerous place to be when the speed demons come through. You think you can see what is ahead of you, and though you can see for miles, it is really hard to see objects traveling towards you. I tried to find an accurate number of all the deaths from racing out here and compare that number to the other tragedies on the salt. All I could find was the number 10. 10 deaths in racing? That is absurd. There have been almost 10 deaths in the last decade, and they have been racing here since the 30s. I also tried to find the crash deaths of civilians, but could find very little, other than a recent report of a death. 2 vehicles crashed head-on during Speed Week. I don't think anybody really wants to talk about it. Staying clear was my main concern, especially while we were camping on the salt.
But the boys are having fun. Exploring the salt too. Probably should have had a talk with them about how thin the salt gets on the edges, because I'm trying to get something. Probably should have talked to Lee before we turned him loose. Salt gets real thin on the sides. He'll break through and get in the mud, then he's fucked. I've ridden up in there though all the way. Depends on how much water is in here. Maybe, yeah, he's already getting in trouble. That's funny. How about right here?
Okay. Guess I need to go past safety dive.
Nah, he's moving. He's probably breaking through and going, oh fuck, what the fuck is this? It's supposed to be salt. Well, you know, you're doing like 60 miles an hour across the salt, it starts breaking up, you're like, what the fuck? Especially if it's mud underneath it, man. Yes or no?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I mean, I figured I ask him, but if you can explain to me what's going to be different about this spot versus that spot, I mean, this is at least kind of not in the main thoroughfare.
That's what I'm trying. I mean, I don't want to be too far away because you see this guy.
Yeah, he was good.
And all this salt he's kicked that blood.
I ain't gonna
I
do
don't think you're going to see a lot of it. I mean, I've ridden back several times. Yeah, it's couldn't even hear that guy, could you?
Nope.
That's the thing about this place is it's so weird just looking at it. But if you're away from everything.
I was trying to explain to the boys the weirdness and the sound. It's almost like you're in a soundproof room. If you have objects nearby you, you can hear the wind whistling off the objects. Otherwise, if it's not whistling across your ears, you can't hear anything out here. And of course, you never know what you're going to find out here. I think I found 3 of them out here. You got to pick them up too. They're souvenirs.
We'll talk about alien eggs.
Desert salamander. It might be fun to bring the salamander.
Now I gotta take a shit.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
I think of that scene from The Matrix every time I'm out here. That just blank white for miles and miles, and that lack of sound. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just really weird, and the only way you can experience this is to come out here and sit. And I would highly recommend that you bring a chair or something to sit on.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop! Let me out! Let me out! I want out!
Little windbreak or shade. What will really blow your mind is the number of insects out here. I've never seen a bee out this far, but I've seen lots of other insects. It's kind of shocking because there's nothing to eat out here. There's no place to nest. What the hell are they doing out here? This bee is just making himself at home on my leg.
He likes your new socks.
I think he's trying to find some. I can't remember what these bees live on. It's probably something like algae or something on the salt. And there's the other salt critter out there, the orange back vagabond. Lots of these black beetles are everywhere, with crickets and grasshoppers, and of course the bee you saw crawling on my leg. It's just really odd. You would think that salt would be very harsh for insects, and I'm not sure that there are very many that can survive on just salt, because I would think it would dry them out just like it dries us out. That's exactly what I was asking. I was afraid of that before we came out here. I got an axe. Playing on the salt outside of Wendover, Utah / Nevada, and we're probably gonna camp out here, I guess, unless anybody has objections. I sure would like to stay out here. It's a little salty. This is what happens on your shoes when you prance around, I guess, this time of day. I've never seen this before. It looks like moist salt to me, but can't explain it.
Here comes the danger zone of it, though.
Well,
Demons out to get me. Every time I do something.
I say we sit here and chill until the wind calms down.
I got you.
Uh-oh.
Fucking a joke. I think I got about a 10% chance to get this done. I can't do a fucking thing. Part of it is salt.
Watch where you step. You just pulled one of your things up. Why don't you do like I'm doing and just sitting and chilling? I'm not putting my shit up until the wind stops.
What else do I got to do? It's kind of fun.
As long as you're having fun, it kind of sounds like you're not.
These buckles are kind of cool and all, I guess. You know the problem with buckles?
I don't.
They fill up with salt and they don't work.
Yeah. Well, so how are you going to stabilize this in this wind? I've never seen a tent like this.
It's not going to stabilize. I'm putting it up. I'm not going to make it. After me, and it's not going to work. If I get wet and get salt down here, I'm fucked. I mean, I would be fucked.
We should have told me. Richard was explaining how bad it could be if he got salt inside his prosthetic and what it would do to his leg. I guess he didn't think about that until we got out there on the salt, which is probably why he wanted to put the tent up so bad. But nevertheless, we wound up having a great evening on the salt. I just slept directly on the ground on my mattress. Check us out next time as we roll out of the salt flats and back into the desert.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Neo. No one has ever done anything like this.
That's why it's going to work.